the gaslighting. It's the same reason why I'm angry with Trump over the Epstein thing. It's like I can't come back from media gaslighting. The Trump thing is worse because it came from his own mouth, the gaslighting. So it wasn't like people trying to cover it up. It was like Trump being like, what Epstein files? Are we still talking about the Epstein files? And so
she was against Biden. Now she's against Trump. Like, so it looks like, could she be just going wherever the wind blows her to?
The tragedy of addiction. I mean, just the absolute tragedy of it.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, there is no space for that in discourse anymore. There's no space for the nuance of, well, that was addiction. That wasn't corruption. I did not do any business through entire 4 years. I became a painter. You know why I became a painter? Because it literally saved my life. I painted my whole life. And Melissa instinctively knew that I literally needed to like occupy my hands in early recovery, like 12 hours a day. Like just, like to be able to focus on not the crushing weight of the consequences of years of addiction. And so I just sat and I painted and I painted and I painted. And I decided to have a show in the gallery and offer my paintings for sale. And New York Post comes out and says, Hunter Biden's selling his paintings for $500,000. I've never sold a painting nor offered a painting for $500,000 in my friggin' life. And by the way, everybody knows this because every painting that I sold, everybody that bought a painting had to pay about $250,000 to defend themselves before an impeachment hearing. Go read the transcripts of people under oath. But regardless, is the laptop absolutely proved nothing, but it became this cultural touchstone. It was like, it embodied the Biden crime family. And if you wanted to be able to believe that, not wanted to be able to believe that, if you believe that because you're being told that by people that you trust that have told you that your election was stolen, that your democracy was thwarted, that the process was unfair, is that all you had to do, and I get this, is look at the pictures. It doesn't look like a good guy to me.
Right. Because you weren't a good guy in the pictures.
No.
Yeah.
Smoking crack in a motel room with a prostitute.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they come out and like they're saying, oh, like this, like I admit it all. Not only admit it all, I own it all. I will own everything, the worst of it, all of it.
And then being like, I mean, now in retrospect, and things have changed. I mean, times have changed. Like I said, I was one of the chief people that was really angry about it. And it did, that was the exact reason why when I re-examine it, it was the gaslighting. It's the same reason why I'm angry with Trump over the Epstein thing. It's like, I can't come back from media gaslighting. The Trump thing is worse because it came from his own mouth, the gaslighting. So it wasn't like people trying to cover it up. It was like Trump being like, what Epstein files? Are we still talking about the Epstein files? And so, but then things kind of changed, I think, with time also because I was very, definitely say I was close with Don Jr., traveled a lot with him through the Hunter Biden laptop scandal. We talked about it, this corruption, can't believe they denied it, all these photos coming out. And then we get whatever this, Trump family is now. And it's like, man, I think it was a historian that wrote on X exactly how I feel, which is I wish I could go back to the days where I thought like Hunter Biden's art was the most corrupt deal that was done in politics. And now we're going, okay, we stood behind Trump, we fought, we shared the photos of Hunter Biden to the extent that we could, and now we have their family engaged in so many corrupt deals, the meme coins, the taking advantage of people, and you go, okay, well, what we actually have is DC is corrupt, politics is corrupt, and I think it is kind of a unifying point, not to excuse, the gaslighting of people for 2 weeks, which made people super angry, but I do think it's just a different time where people are kind of going back and examining, and I feel actually terrible realizing that you were finally clean and then it's just this humiliation ritual over and over and over again of people putting everything out there and not realizing also your kids are facing this consequence as well, which people do not think about a lot of times when they publish stories. Like I even was reticent and didn't cover the Kristi Noem thing.
So I hear Candace on that one, right? Like, yeah, for sure. Like politics is I think what she's saying here is that Hunter Biden, and then the Biden family, she's saying that they don't seem to be nearly as corrupt as the Trump administration. But could she just be saying that now because of they've had a falling out? She's fallen out with Trump, and could that be why? And because obviously, like, she was against Biden, now she's against Trump. Like, so it looks like, could she be just going wherever the wind blows her to? That's what it looks like to me, anyways. Because I remember that she was one of the people with like the megaphone talking about the Biden crime family, and now she's again one of the loudest people talking about the Trump administration and like their scandals. So while I respect Candace for always holding people accountable, I do have to question her. Like, what is she really standing for, and what is she suggesting as a solution here? Like, because obviously we can't say, well, we better go with the Biden family because even though they're doing crime or allegedly, it's not as bad as these other guys. So I think we shouldn't have to settle for that. And I'm hoping that we can get to a point where we don't just all accept that politics is like corrupt and then nothing to see here, let's move on. No, like, that should be unacceptable. Because ask yourself this, as a citizen of your country, whatever country that may be, are you allowed to break the law? Are you allowed to so much as step out of line? The answer is probably no. You will be met with full force from the enforcement officers, right? So I think that we should, like, that same level of scrutiny and accountability should also apply to the elected officials. So actually, I would even argue that more of it should even be directed towards our elected officials, because they are the ones that are the leaders, right? So, you know, like, when I worked as a product engineer in 2017, we understood that while we are not the ones building, and I worked in the electronics manufacturing services industry, where we like put like chips, microchips on circuit boards pretty much. And so sometimes people put the wrong chips on, and your initial instinct is to say, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I just did the work instructions and put all the processes in place. But then the company actually had this thing where they said that the product engineer actually owns it and is responsible for that. And at first it was hard for me to accept that, but I finally accepted it. And so what normally happens is that when something goes wrong, it's like the leaders, like the line leaders, are the ones that have to hold the L and then put in place a corrective action to ensure that it doesn't happen again. And so I don't see that as happening with our elected officials. I see that they actually get away with all sorts of things, and we just have to say, oh, well, at least it wasn't that bad. And that is, for me, completely unacceptable. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say in the comments, though.